Welcome everyone. It's Tuesday, the 4th of April. I'm Kelly Wilkins, your host. This is the My Self Reliance Coinda Community Connection. And tonight we are all about the My Self Reliance EXPO. So it's coming up on the 29th of April. It's the doors open at 9:30 till 4:30 in Prospect. A special location. It's an off-grid property, so you can look it up. It's number 18, Great Western Highway Prospect. So it's right on the highway, really easy to get to, which is super good. But it's not your average off-gridding location. It does have water, it has electricity, but what makes it off-grid is that it's off-grid to rate paying and to council. So it's private property, but it's open and welcome to you all to come and experience the expo for the day. Now, we always have on a Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Sydney time, really amazing speakers, people from all around Australia sharing with us their expertise and knowledge on all things self-reliance. So you can go back on our YouTube channel and check that out, all the different speakers that we've had there the last 18 months. But tonight, what we and each Tuesday throughout April is we're going to showcase some of our presenters that are going to be at the expo. So all except for next Tuesday. So next Tuesday, it's not a usual community open Zoom. It's actually a closed ticketed Zoom room next Tuesday because we're going to have Yana. If anyone saw Yana Holmet speak, she's coming on to do a special, the secret formula for plentiful plants workshop. And she is a ball of energy. She is full of knowledge and information. If you heard her story, she's been catching her own dinner, running around the backyard since she was 10. And her grandmother taught her to lop the heads off those chickens and pluck your own dinner. And so she's been self-sufficient since she was 10 years old. So she is amazing. She's got, you know, we call them green thumbs, but I'm sure they're golden because she just makes plants grow. And her orchards are just, she's only been at a property for 10 months and she's got apples on the tree. Now, to me, that is unheard of. Wow. So you need to really jump into next week's Zoom. It's only $22 for a ticket to that amazing event. And she will show you her secret formula for having your abundance of food on your plants and on your trees. So plus you'll just get way more value than that. She's lots of fun. So you can find those tickets on myselfreliance.com.au. In addition to that, you'll see where we offer microgreens class. We offer a mini mechanics class. Now, I only say mini because it's school holidays and we're inviting kids along with their parents, mostly youth age. So to come along and learn mechanics. Graham is our expert to help you to learn what's under your hood and how to save money with economy, with your car, and also when you go to the dealership. So that is an excellent course. I can't recommend it highly enough. Held at Mulgoa near the Blue Mountains. So that's the date, the 17th. No, that's the Monday. Monday the 17th, we're actually having fruit preservation class. So come along to fruit canning. That's at Rouse Hill. And that is a 3-hour event where you'll get to can some yummy summer fruits and also jam as well. So nothing to bring, just bring yourself. Everything will be provided, plus a yummy lunch. That is Monday. So it's another school holiday event that you can enjoy. So thank you, Michaela, that it's right. Saturday the 15th for the motor mechanics. Okay, so everything's happening. And so you want to go to the website, myselfreliance.com.au for those events. All right, now let me introduce you to our speakers tonight. Our first guest presenter is Linda from Mimosa Eco Retreat. And Linda runs a beautiful retreat on the southern coast. I've had a look at her photos, and I would love you to all come along to the expo and meet Linda, but you're going to get a little insight into what she does. We're going to show some photos. So welcome, Linda.
Thank you, Kelly. I'm really grateful for the invite to come and speak tonight and meet lots of your lovely people, that your community that you've developed, and it's just really nice to be here. Thank you.
Oh, pleasure. And so you've been at the Mimosa Eco Retreat. Did you start that?
It was a holiday accommodation property when we took over 8.5 years ago, but it was very run down, didn't have a website, everything was put together with a Band-Aid. And so we've just worked really hard the last 8.5 years to bring it up and develop it into the property that we felt was worthy of it and the beautiful area that we live in. So we've been busy doing that for the last 8.5 years. Having said that, we've always lived on the land. My husband and I, we've always lived on some form of property and have grown a lot of our own food and tried to be relatively self-sufficient and brought our children up on the land, which was really lovely. Not big parcels of land and not far from major towns, but we saw Mimosa Eco, well, it was Mimosa Wildflowers and Cottages when we purchased it, and we saw it for sale and we thought, you know what, we could really do this. And so we bought it, and here we are. And it's beautiful 25-acre pet-friendly property that has 4 cottages on it. All the cottages are a different size, and they each overlook their own waterways. So we've got plenty of dams, and we're self-sufficient with water on our property. And it's just a place where people can come to retreat from city life and come into nature and to be in their own little space. So every cottage has, you know, its own area for them to be in, its own fire pit overlooking what I call billabongs. I mean, they're really dams, but, you know, for the romance of it, I call them billabongs. And we've also grown lots of vegetables in the last, you know, planted loads of huge variety of food. So our guests that come along are encouraged to forage in the gardens while they're there. Which we think is a bit of a point of difference to most holiday accommodation properties. We don't have animals on the property, but it's just, we've got beautiful gardens. So it's that's just a small portion of it. There's so much more coming, and we're working really hard on that as well. So a lot more to come in the future.
Beautiful. It sounds amazing.
In our area. Yeah, sorry, Kelly, go on.
Yeah, I was just noticing your bandwidth was a bit low, so, but you pop back on now. It seems to have come back strong, so carry on. And I can show you some photos.
Oh, that's
too.
Good. I'm in the country. Yes. So what we've developed over the time is we're now set up with beautiful gardens for people to spend time. People can hire our gazebo back garden area and what we call our barn. And on Good Friday, we've got a pre-wedding party that are coming, just a small group of about 50 people. And they're going to utilise the beautiful gardens and the fire pits and that sort of area. We've just developed a big level area to our western boundary, which is just a big 30-metre diameter round. And planning things like music and the arts, and encouraging people to develop workshops and come and teach people. So, you know, all different varieties of different things. So it's all moving along. So
Oh, it sounds ideal. It sounds just like the place I'd love to be, doesn't it? So why don't I share my screen and I'll show some photos and people can get a real, because a picture tells 1,000 words. So, and you can talk us through some of these. This is the billabong you're talking about. Isn't that gorgeous? Can you see that?
Yes, that's our Billabong cottage. That's our smallest cottage. It's a romantic little 1-bedroom, and it's a very popular cottage. It's very rarely empty, and a lot of people come because they want to be in nature. They want to have their own space. They want to feel like they're in the middle of nowhere, even though they're not. Yeah, so it's a really quaint little cottage, and they've sort of developed in a Australian settlers style. So I've furnished them in keeping with that mostly. So made them, I would like to call some of them vintage chic, others, and they're all different. So none are the same. And I'm not traditionally, you know, the normal kind of Airbnb appearance that you see mostly these days, which is beautiful and white and beige, and you know, they're gorgeous, but I like to have something that's a little bit different. So most of our cottages have their own individual style and they're all really cute, so it's really nice. So that's just one of our cottages. I don't think I sent you any more photos of the others.
Okay, I'll just move through this one. That's a gorgeous photo of you.
Thank you. That's just me sitting out in the gazebo area. A good friend of mine who's a photographer took that photo, and we did some of those photos because I'm going to be developing a lot more. I'm developing the property, also my area, into kind of a healing centre, if you will. I've developed a vibrational waterbed upstairs in the barn, and I'm also a Reiki master. So including that with the other things that I do, I feel that we are all vibration, frequency, and so I use Hertz frequency that I pipe into a waterbed, and the waterbed, the speakers vibrate the water, and the water vibrates the cells in your body. So that's something I'm just about to release. So that's coming along.
Wow.
And yeah, so there's a lot going on. Yeah, there is. Oh, this is downstairs in the barn area. So that's also another area that we use for workshops and retreats, and as a breakout area. Over the winter, we have a beautiful community of very like-minded people in our area, quite a lot of us. And so over the winter, we did, I took them through and taught them how to do fire cider, and I've also got all of, over the years, and I've done a lot of it, is preserving food. So I grow a lot of food, so I need to preserve it because I don't like to see any of it go to waste. So preserving workshops, and want to branch out into writers' retreats and artists' retreats, and basically also being in the space of a really good energetic property, which is what I feel we've got where we are. So
yeah, you're a one-stop shop, Linda, and it speaks self-reliance all over it, doesn't it? Love that. And it's anything but a barn.
No, it's not. That's my photographer friend took that image, and that's a bath sitting out on the deck at one of our larger cottages. So you can't see that there, but that also overlooks its own waterway, and it's got all of its own private area. It's really beautiful. So she was just sitting really in there enjoying a bath.
I know, that's luxury outside bathing.
It is, and it's hot water too. This is my favourite beach. This is Murrumarang Beach, and I spend quite a lot of time here. I really feel there's a lot of Aboriginal heritage in the area, and at this end of the beach, away from the people but coming towards you, is an Aboriginal ceremonial ground, or an old Aboriginal ceremonial ground. Holds a lot of spirit. So I feel that carries the spirit of the land in the area. And we basically only have a village. We're not very populated. So you can often walk for a long time and barely see a soul. So except at Easter time and Christmas, where it becomes fairly hectic. But it's a really beautiful natural environment where mostly the bush goes to right up to the beach.
And far from the retreat?
Only about 4 kilometres.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah, so we're not right on the beach, of course. There's not many large properties that are, unless they're a caravan park, but we like to think that we're sort of set back in nature a little bit. We're close to a lot of national parks and state forests where people can explore, and there's a lot of beautiful hiking in the area, namely Pigeon House
Both
Mountain.
worlds.
Yeah, it is.
Hey.
It's just great. Beach and bush. It's beautiful. Really is. We're very blessed. We feel very blessed to live here. It's gorgeous.
Yes.
This is my vibrational healing space. So this is the bed that, I bring people up, and I do a Reiki on the bed and the water and the space first. And then I pipe Hertz frequency music, so that could be a 432 or a 528 or different frequencies. So with a menu people can choose, but generally I like them if they've never done it before and they haven't done a lot of personal journey work. It's always nice to start with the lower frequencies that just sink them back into themselves. So yes, that's something else I do on the side apart from running the business. So one of my favourite places to be. This was a recent drum making workshop. So we did a medicine drum making workshop with Bastian McPhee, and she took us on a spiritual journey of creating the drum and giving thanks to the skin, the animal who was obviously killed, and we utilised the skin, and also the trees, because the frame is wood, and of course there's the animal skin to make the drums. Beautiful journey to go through to actually come out with the most magnificent piece of musical equipment that is really spiritual and deep, and brings you back to Mother Nature and makes you sit within that and think a little bit more deeply. So
wow, just hearing what you shared makes you think a little bit more deeply. So yeah, don't take anything for granted.
Yeah, that's right.
That's part of the workshop too then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it really
amazing.
is. So she took us on a beautiful journey of climbing a mountain, if you will, a mountain to reach your highest potential, which was fabulous. So I've planned another one in June, and that's really exciting because a lot of interest already.
And so the area that you're in is?
We're about 20 minutes south of Ulladulla, so we're close to Borley Point. We're on the road to Borley Point.
Beautiful.
Borley Point is probably about 3 hours south of Sydney, depending on the traffic. So very reachable. We get a lot of Sydney people.
Well, this is good timing too, because we've got school holidays upon us, and people will be thinking, where am I going to go? What am I going to do for holidays? And so that your location would just be ideal, and spending some time at your retreat would you'd come back so rejuvenated and refreshed, I think so. And you have cottages for larger groups as well. So I noticed there was one for a family to 6 to 8 people. So I thought that'd be ideal for my family.
Yes. It's a 3-bedroom cottage, and they're not huge, but they're but they're very comfortable and it's set in just a beautiful location. So yeah, we try to make them as comfortable as possible for everybody, and it's great for the kids. They can run around, and you know, it's a safe property, so you don't have to worry if they're riding their bikes around the place, because they're not really going to go anywhere, and we don't have strangers come onto the property, so it's very safe for the children.
Beautiful. Can you put your website address into the chat, please, Linda?
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. And so thank you so much for sharing about that. It is absolutely gorgeous. We might now, just being aware of time, and I don't know if anyone has any questions that they wanted to pop into the chat, or if anyone needed to come off mute to ask anything. But it was, yeah, there's lots of wow and amazing in the chat, so thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, Kelly.
Our pleasure. So we'll introduce Cherie, and Cherie is from Young Living. She has a business called the RainDrop Room. Now, I have known Cherie for many years and have had a raindrop with Cherie. Cherie, welcome. Thank you for being here tonight. Would you like to tell everyone what a raindrop is?
Well, it's part of my presentation, so
I'll hand it over to you. Take it away, Cherie.
Okay, thanks, Kelly. Linda, that sounds amazing. I would absolutely love to come and visit you.
Thank you. Well,
I
might
actually talk to my daughter about sending the kids there, sending her and the kids there.
That'd be lovely.
Someday.
We'd love to welcome you.
That would be great. So hi, my name is Cherie. My business is called the RainDrop Room, and I'm going to tell you just a little bit about my story. I was born in New Zealand into a family with a strong focus on health. So I struggled for a long time with various health issues, and I learned organically some ways to help myself. I found some practitioners who were able to do a little bit to help me as well. But in 41 years ago, I came to Australia, still struggling to manage my health. And eventually I found a naturopath who put a label on what I was going through. So today it's referred to as gut health. She called it Candida. So I was just weak, and I'd get up and I'd be fine. And then I would get on a bus and smell all those perfumes and stale tobacco smells, and I'd get to work and I wouldn't be able to go up the stairs. I'd have to catch the lift, and then I'd be too weak to go to do anything. I couldn't concentrate, and it was, you know, all the doctors were telling me all these years that there was nothing wrong with me. So I went down the road to this health food store, and the lady in the store was a naturopath, and she gave me some questions and said, yeah, you've got Candida. So she helped me a lot. Things have changed. There's a lot more information now, and there's a lot of stuff that has changed the way I do things. But I eventually discovered that I had been suffering most of my life with reactive depression. And that's just where things go wrong and something else goes wrong on top of that, and something goes wrong on top of that, and it's just depressing. So that's pretty much, I was smiling all the time. The doctor told me I wasn't depressed because I was too happy. But when I was finally diagnosed with this reactive depression, it made things a lot clearer and made it easier for me to figure out. But that would have been likely the result of my gut health issues. So what I know now was not known to anyone when I was growing up in a health conscious family. Also, the challenges that we all have now didn't exist to the same extent 50 years ago when I was a teen. So these challenges are stress and toxic exposure and poor nutrition. 50 years ago, the soil was better, the food was better, there wasn't so much packaged food and processed rubbish. So a little over 13 years ago, I was introduced to premium essential oils and natural products infused with these essential oils. Since then, I've had much more control over my health. My home is toxic free. I know what I need if I'm in pain or if I'm stressed and overwhelmed. And my overall wellness is much better than it was before I started using pure, potent, powerful essential oils. So early in my essential oils journey, I learned about RainDrop technique. This is a specialized practice using gentle massage techniques to apply essential oils to your feet and back, creating a whole body blissful experience that leaves you feeling refreshed, rejuvenated, and realigned. And of course, we're using pure, potent, powerful, premium essential oils for this. And it's a selection of specific oils, which I can add to and take away from, but there's a formula. So I immediately enrolled to learn this technique, and I was amazed at what receiving a RainDrop did for me. For example, I used to suffer from sciatica, and now I don't. Instant. I've never had it since. So my children, they didn't grow up with the benefit of my essential oils knowledge until they were no longer children. However, my grandchildren, I have 3, are growing up using essential oils every day, and they love them. So what is it about premium essential oils that has made the difference for us? Plants make essential oils to protect themselves from pests, from the elements, changes in the weather, and for delivering nourishment and oxygen to the cells. We bottle this precious oil and use it pretty much for the same things as the plant does. So how do I know which oil to use for what? First of all, I don't wait till I have the right oil. Whatever I have will work. Why? Because the chemistry of essential oils is so complex with many components that something in there will serve you. For this reason, an oil like lavender with hundreds of components is able to keep you calm, help you sleep well, help you to breathe easy, as well as to reduce inflammation and itching for bites, infections, burns, and more. So there's a whole bunch of things that lavender can do. And it's because of all the different components in there. So second, the oil that is specifically chosen for your purpose must be what your body will respond to, and everybody's different. There is more than one oil for what ails you. This allows you to select the oil that resonates with you, and this may be different from anybody else. Did you know it can take up to a year, 3 months at a time, to find the right medicine for a diagnosis, the medicine that's right for you? And you still may not even get the right medicine. There's side effects, they change it and try a different one, and there's more side effects, and it's nuts. When you use essential oils, you know quickly if it's working or if you need to try something else. And there's no side effects. It's just whether it works or not. So I have a story for you. Amy was only going to the hospital to if her friend would let her use oils on her sick baby. The baby was hooked up to monitors, so it was easy to tell when the stats were dropping. Amy applied lemon oil to the feet of the baby to bring her stats up each time they dropped. At one point, she decided to try frankincense. She wanted to see if frankincense would get faster results. Nothing happened. So she went back to lemon. That baby was very, very ill and would probably have died if she hadn't have been there doing that. So yeah, she went back to using lemon, and lemon is the cheaper version. Like frankincense is way expensive, and that wasn't the right oil for this baby. Lemon was. So I will be at the expo with oils for you to experience, products for you to learn about and maybe even taste. And I will be demonstrating a part of the RainDrop throughout the day at different times. I will need volunteers for this. So first one to put their hand up, first few to put their hands up. You will also be able to book free wellness above the line consultations with me. So that's what I'm going to be doing at the expo.
Oh yeah, you're going to have a long line for sure.
Yeah.
That is that you can't beat the good essential oils and a RainDrop. Thank you, Cherie. And of all the years that I've known you, I haven't heard your story. So thank you so much for sharing that. And you know, it's very inspiring. I don't know if there's anyone here who hasn't used oils, but if you haven't, you definitely want to line up and see Cherie at the expo. Too excited. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Lovely. Well, last but not least, we have Oliver. Now, do you want to answer this question that's just come through from Andrew? Andrew has said, what do you mean by above the line consultations, Cherie?
So it's wellness above the line. So when you're already sick, I can do stuff to make you more comfortable and to hopefully help your body to find that healing to get you back over the line. But what I want to do is help people to stay above the line, so that you're not coming to me because you're sick, you're coming to me because you want to not get sick. Does that make sense? So we're above, it's wellness above the line.
Beautifully explained. Thank you. That's awesome. All right. Where I've lost Oliver on my, there he is. Hello, Oliver. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, Oliver's a champ. He is not on the billing tonight. We were going to have Gail from Ponies for Parties, and poor Gail messaged me a little while before, just before we started the meeting, and said that she wasn't well enough to come on tonight. So Oliver, what a champ. He's jumped in tonight, ready to share with you what he has in food storage. Now, you might go back a few months and see a Zoom call that we did around food storage with Oliver. So Oliver, you're coming back to the expo, and you've got a whole new line of offerings. Share with us what you've been up to, and for anyone who didn't see the last Zoom call with you sharing about food storage, tell us about Mylar bags and what you do, your vision there.
Thank you very much. Mylar bags, if you haven't heard, they're pretty much the cutting edge of food storage people, preppers, in terms of grains and pulses. So the Mylar bags have oxygen absorbers inside of them that basically there's only nitrogen left. So it kills the weevils, blocks the light, and then the oxygen is also a deteriorating factor on the grains and the pulses. So there's none of that. Pretty much instead of getting 9 years on average of all the grains and pulses, you get like 10 or more. So I'm relatively new to the food storage area, but I did plenty of deep diving and understood that the Mylar bags would seem to be, if you want the most amount of food per dollar per full tummies in the years ahead, the Mylar bag system is really the best way to go if you're going to put money into food. So you can get cans and all the other things are also yummy, but in terms of dollars per meals, the Mylar bags is definitely the way to go. Okay, perhaps I'll just keep going.
Great.
Thank you. Truck driver for 25 years, moved everything, organic foods. Yeah, been into organic food since I was very young and a health nut. And so the craziness of the last 2 years, it's really only 6 months ago, I was like, this food thing, maybe it's a real problem. I better focus on it. And then there's been some iterations on the business. But really I was going towards my my love of moving big objects around. So basically we're up to offering like pallets and pallets sized offerings. So the size of the order I'm going to, it might shock you a bit, the size that that we're asking in the price, but we see it as providing the best leverage for individuals. So at this stage and at the expo, we're only offering it to individuals with the size orders, but we're taking expressions of interest for groups into the future. So going over the problem with foods, prices are going up 10, 20, 30%, depending what it is. The just wheat prices, just normal mainstream wheat's probably 10, 20% in the last 2 years. And there's just a number of problems. If you go around Telegram, you hear plenty of different things, or even at the sort of, let's say, the more public conservative end with Jordan Peterson talking about the problems with the silly people at the top end making problems with access to nitrogen and other problems. There's just lots of potential problems with food. I don't like to ring that bell too hard. I'd rather talk about all the happy joy stuff, but I can definitely there's a
reason to store food and have your food storage on hand, and I can vouch for that. Anyone who is on our channel knows that it's called My Self Reliance and Food Storage. So yeah, a lot of things that we love to have in life, food is like number one, right?
So I could just rattle on about the negatives. I kind of assume people like us have kind of heard these things. So the acquisition of food up front while it's still available and still kind of cheap is kind of a good idea. So basically we're offering it more for the kind of the investor types, so that they see it as buying like an overabundance of food, so that they can then trade it in the future, or resell it, or plant it for cropping to farmers. So there's multiple ways of going. Then with the Mylar bags, there's up to 10 years or more to have that option. So rather than like 6 months or 1 year types, which we're taking the expressions of interest to do that later. And on the security, the where to put it, we've basically got some options, and it's up to the people who are placing the orders of what we can do. We've got some options. We've basically thought it all out, and it's not going to be in the middle of the city. It'll be somewhere appropriate for the whoever makes the orders.
So will you need, if you're ordering in a large amount, you kind of are going to need a shed or a or a large storage unit to be able to store this size that you're talking about?
Something like that. It depends on what people want, how close they want it at hand. There's options. The acquisition's kind of the hard part. The storage is relatively, it's just not that hard. I've got a background in removals and I've moved things everywhere to everywhere else. I just see it's a big country, you know, so people, I think people just don't, they look at their house and they go, well, how can I put a pallet of food in here? So it's probably not going to be in your house, or it could be, or half of it's there, or something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
So the size of the order we're offering at this stage to start with is $62,000.
And how much food is that?
That depends on what people buy. Like you can just get El Cheapo wheat, but I'm pretty sure when I sit down with people and go through the order from probably we've got about 4 suppliers at the moment. They're going to want coffee, this spices and a whole bunch of other things that's way more pricey. So it depends on that. Where I've come to the preference of going for a larger order because basically I can do my work well, and the person who at this stage, the person who gets that, they've kind of got an overabundance that they can, at the worst case scenario, they've got enough to be self-reliant with the people around them. They've got a lot, and then they can, well, preferably like they're doing farming, or they could go to farming, or they could move to doing farming or something like that. But they've got options rather than just the 6 months. You kind of like, it's more is better. More is better.
Yeah, sounds awesome. And so will you have at the expo a bit like a menu so that people can start to kind of decide how they would put together their order? Are you going to do a little bit of a consultation with people so they can get their head around how that would work in terms of, what to order, where to put it, how it would get sent? Will you offer that kind of a consultation?
Yep, I could do that. And
I think you're freezing a little bit, but that's all right.
oh, I'm freezing. You can hear me still?
We can still hear you. Yes.
Oh, cool. All right. Yep, definitely. I can show some of the variety that's available. The easy one to start with that anyone can start with by themselves if they don't want to do something with myself is honest to goodness. So I think it's goodness.com.au, or honest to goodness is where I basically cut my teeth on. You guys can still hear us?
Yes. Yeah. You're good.
Yeah, honest to goodness is fantastic. Pretty much I'm only offering organic foods or pesticide free. I just see it's worth paying that premium for it. Yeah, so definitely honest to goodness, and at the expo can show people how to do it themselves. If they just want to, start with a $500 order from honest to goodness, that's fine. Yeah, you guys can still hear us?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so that is a really great website too, and you can do group orders on honest to goodness. So that's really generous of you, Oliver, to kind of put that out there, even though it doesn't serve you in any way. But of course, if you are up to doing something a bit bigger, like you say, farmers and who have got the space and the vision for storing bigger loads of food. So then really thanks for offering that, Oliver. That's a really good service, because I'm sure people would be like not being able to order in that size of a pallet from honest to goodness. So Oliver, share with us your story.
About a month ago or so, one gentleman I was talking to has an inheritance and was wondering what to do with the money in these circumstances. So he's considering crypto or gold or a tiny home. And then when I said, like this food prices are going up, you can basically trade it. It's like you could consider it as an investment. Like it became like a light bulb moment for him, and so we're in the process of going down that path. It's a little bit complicated. It's a lot of money, and still got to go through the order and showing the details. So yeah, we're on our way.
You know what? It really is an investment. And my husband and I talk about these things all the time. And apart from owning property, well, you can't really trade property, you know, for some cheese. So having some food storage is a really good tradable option if it, you know, and when you can store it like that and it doesn't go off, then it does become currency. So that is a really great option. Andrew asked, is it a pallet of mixed product? Yes, that it needs to be split and then repacked into Mylar bags. So you kind of got halfway through answering that, Oliver.
Yeah, so in the Mylar bags, which is great, but then we put them in these large drums, and then there's other options. But the drums are the 220 litres. They're reused and cleaned olive drums. They're kind of cheap, but they're tough as you could. They're kind of just in terms of logistics. It's just like I'm pretty sure it's like the best option all around. So we put them in the these big drums also. It's like a second layer. But this is it's oxygen free. The drum gets you your macro storage, your macro packaging.
Do you do service where you're repackaging into Mylar bags, or does the customer get the Mylar bags with the package and then repackages it themselves?
We're still working out some of the details on who's doing the packaging, because it depends on the volume. So it's kind of like to be negotiated on who does the packaging. But basically, it needs to be into the Mylar bags and then the drums, and then stored wherever. Yeah,
beautiful. Yeah. No, and that would be a case by case scenario, I would think too.
There's some consulting, negotiating, working out details. But the basic idea is pretty straightforward. It's just big.
Got that. That's awesome. Great. Is there any other questions that I didn't get to? So if there's no other questions, we will finish up tonight. And thanks again, everyone.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
My pleasure. So don't forget to get your tickets to get onto Yana's call next Tuesday, same time. Actually, no, it's a little bit earlier. It's 7:30 next Tuesday, because there's a lot to go through. So, all right.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Bye for now.